Hello, welcome to today's lesson. We are now on page number 127 of the Keyboard Musicianship Book 1. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the 16th notes, and that's what this video is about. So it says here, 4 16th notes are grouped to the beat in meters with 4 as the bottom number. Okay, so that's what you see there for the first example. And let's go ahead and have my little spotlight show it to you. Okay, so we're right here. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so we're about right here. And we see that 2 16th notes fill the time of 1/8 note. And then the dot, let's go ahead and talk about that. Let me write those in here, give me a moment. Okay, so we have here 1/4 note equaling 4 16th notes, 1/8 note equaling 2 16th notes, and then the dotted 8th notes followed by a 16th note may be felt as an 8th note tied to the first 2 16th notes which follows, and that's what this is right here. And the way that is we have the dotted 8th note, which is like those two right there, 8th tied to a 16th, and then the last 16th is the one by itself. Okay, so how do we write these out, or the subdivisions for common time 16th notes? Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about common time 16th notes, and I'm going to go ahead and write it in on my screen here. So let me just move this a little bit this way. Okay, so we know that it is one beat. Make sure we got it down. Good. Okay, so we have one beat here, 1. For 16th notes, we know that it's 4, so we're going to give it the subdivisions of 1, E, and the plus sign meaning and. And so when we have the clapping of that rhythm, we're going to clap it like this. 1 E and 1 E and just like that. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the next one. This is just half of a beat, this 8th note. So let's say this was just beat number 1. And if that was, we'd have 1, and somewhere here in space, we'd have the and somewhere. But if this was just 2 16th notes as the first beat, we'd say 1 E. 1 E. So those happen before the and of the first beat. So it doesn't belong. The and would be somewhere over here in space if they were there. And then for the last example, we have a dotted 8th note. So that would include all of 1 E and, it's kind of small as you can see. And then the last 16th note would be up. And you can see this as 1 and E and, or let's see, 1 E, yeah, that's right, 1 E and oops, sorry, let's try that again. 1 E and I think that's how you do that. Let's take a look at this again. So we have 1 E and yeah, that's correct. And so the way we clap that one is going to be 1 E and 1 E and So we could also shake 1 E and to indicate the E and of the 8th note and the 16th note. So once again, the last example there, 1 E and Okay, so now that we have gone over the 16th notes for common time, let's go ahead and talk about the 16th notes for compound time, simple time. First, compound time. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. Oops, sorry, too far. Okay, not too far up. Where's my pencil? All right, so let's go ahead now and do the subdivision time or counts for the compound time signature of 6/8 time. We know from the previous video that we count this as 1, 2, 3. And so since they're individual beats, the 16th notes, as you can see, are beamed in 2s, and those 3 sets of 2s are beamed with 1. So this is the way this is going to be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and. So when we have the regular one, the 8th notes, 1, 2, 3. The 16th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and they just happen to be beamed all together. It looks kind of strange, I know, but that's the way it is. The next one, once again, it's just 1, 2, 3. That would become a dotted quarter note, 1, 2, 3. One is subdivided, one is just a unit. 1, 2, 3, the unit, 1, 2, 3. 3/8 notes inside of a dotted quarter note. And for the last example, we have here an 8th tied to a 16th, and a 16th and an 8th by itself. And so as we already know, we have this as one beat. This is going to be beats 2 and 3. So we see that the 2 is tied to the first beat, but it's only half of an entire beat. So there's an and along with that, and then we have the and 3. So the and is going to be shorter sounding than the 3. And this is going to be the same thing over here written. 1, 2, and 3. So make sure that you count that 16th note a little bit shorter than the 8th note. So the first example, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So just regular would be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the and would be faster or shorter. Not faster, but shorter. Okay, so that's all we have about that one. Now that we have those subdivisions, let's talk about how to clap the following rhythm patterns. Okay, so this one here, I'm not going to write out the subdivisions based on the way I've already written out the examples above. Let's see if you can figure out how to write these out if you need to, or if we want, we can just go ahead and clap and count them right now. Let's go ahead and get that started, please. Let's start with the first one. Here we go. Ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, E and a 3, 4, E and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you may have noticed that I did this a little bit faster. There is a new type of rhythm here for the 4/4 on measure number 2. The 8th note would be counted as 1 E, and then the second or the other 2 16ths will be and a. And then of course we also have a dotted dotted 8th with a 16th by itself. That would be 1 a. And so it's 1 E and a. And that's going to be at the end. So practice clapping and counting those ones. Do it slowly, start off slowly first, and then build up the tempo. Let's next go to 6/8 time. Here we go. Once again, counting to 6. Let's go this one a little bit slower. Here we go. 1. Let's move this a little bit higher so it's not in the way. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Now, you may have noticed that when I did the measure number 3, I did 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an old habit. I usually would say that as a instead of and, but I would encourage you to practice it however you'd like, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at the bottom. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the bottom music here, Kookaburra. Kookaburra is an Australian tune. Kookaburra, or Kookaburra, is a very nice bird that has a very loud singing or laughing kind of voice. So I would encourage you to look up on YouTube what a kookaburra sounds like. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's play through this music here. We're now going to go overhead view. Oh, I guess we're not going to be an overhead view. Let's go ahead and change that. Here we go. Okay, so we have here music in 2/4 time. And if you need to clap and count this rhythm, I would encourage you to do this on your own, to clap and count the notes. I'm actually just going to play and count to start with. Here we go. Let's go ahead and give it a demonstration before we do that. Finger number 4 on A, which means we're in an E minor position. Keep in mind we have an F sharp there. Finger number 3 on F sharp, so that means we're in D position here. 1, 2. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of repeated legatos in this music, and we also have quite a few 16th notes. Let's now go ahead and do the counts. Here we go. Oh, and one more thing, there is going to be a hand change from E minor to G position. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the counts. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. 1 E and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Okay, so there you have it. That's our music there, Kookaburra. Please practice that and be able to also count as you play. And we will see you at next lesson.